585k again. That is really crazy. 585k. So it's way more than I thought. Like when you hear ignore 25% magic res, to me that definitely doesn't translate to 25% more post-fact damage, but that's what it is, and that is so freaking good. Like she shocked me. She's way better than I thought with this awakening, and I actually think I'm going to recommend a lot more people consider it than I ever anticipated I would. Hey guys, very fast intro disclaimer. Some of you may have seen half of this video before. I did my comparison of A3 Ingrid, then awakened her and compared her to A5, not realizing that the autofight not only locks in the previous gear and artifacts from the last time you saved it in arena, but also awakenings. So thankfully, a couple very nice viewers reached out to me to let me know that my test was still A3 versus A3. So what I've done is kept the first half where we set all the baselines, and then I went back in now a couple hours later, did the runs manually so we know she's A5, and you get to see the comparison. And it's actually crazy, because originally I'm like thinking, oh, we're doing well, because I actually was winning those fights in the original A3 versus A3 test that I thought was A5, but the damage wasn't blowing my mind. This time, it blows my mind. You hear me saying things like 25% and 33% increased damage. Those were really the minimum. The smallest increase we saw comparing the old footage to the new footage was an increase in damage of 31%, 31.5%. The highest I saw was over 40%. It is really nuts how big a difference the awakenings make, A4 and especially by a mile A5. Is it worth it for you though? I will address that at the end of the video. I really think there's one answer for people that are really interested in arena and another answer for people really interested in GVG. And then I guess a third answer, I'll tell you right now at the beginning, if you're not interested in any PvP modes, I do not think it's worth Soulstones if you're not into PvP. If you are, for certain people, holy crap, it is. The damage boost is wild. Thank you guys for your patience. This was a hard video to re-edit and put together. Thank you to my editor, Mitchell, who came in to save the day. I really think you guys will enjoy the video and you'll see some pretty huge numbers. Let's get into it. I have long wondered in Watcher of Realms, as maybe a lot of you have as well, how good is A5 Ingrid? You see her a lot on these whale accounts, but how powerful is she exactly? We know her A3 transforms her into, in a lot of ways, the best hero in the entire game. That is the awakening that takes her from fantastic to the queen, the goddess of Watcher of Realms. But after the A3, there still are 2 more awakenings that follow. And how big a boost does bringing her from A3 to A5 actually give to your Ingrid, and how much does it help your account? Well, I am in a unique position, which I've actually been in for a while now. I just haven't gotten around to filming this, where I have an A3 Ingrid and I actually have 2 dupe copies of her. So we are here today on my account, and I want to do a short video finding out if A5 Ingrid is going to take my AoE DPS arena team to the next level. There are a lot of ways we could test her A5. I'm just choosing the AoE DPS arena because I think it's the cleanest. Once I explain her A4 and A5, I think it's going to make a lot of sense. So without further ado, let us begin. You can see this is the insane A3. When she enters either of her overload states, and which state she enters depends on which mode she's in. She has her solar mode and her stellar mode, respectively. Those are her AoE modes, and then her radiant erosion single target mode. In this video, we're going to be covering the solar mode, but just so you know, when you get her A3, the amount of hits it takes to trigger her giant blasts. So in solar mode, that is the solar flare. That's where she just shoots across the entire map and destroys everything. And then in single target mode, that is the star shower. That's where she shoots like 1 million of those purple dots at the enemy. The amount of hits she needs to do with her basic attacks is significantly lowered when you have her A3. Typically in those overload modes, it's every 5 hits. When you have her A3, it's every 2 hits. So it's literally every other. Every other hit is triggering it, and it is wild. So the A3 is what really takes her from, wow, my Ingrid's really good, and she's changed my account, to, oh my God, this is the best hero in the game, at least in a lot of ways. That's not really something to contend, I think. Her capabilities ranging from being a phenomenal lord of one of the strongest factions in the game with the Watchguard, while still being an amazing unit by herself that can be slotted in as a Supreme Arbiter because of her dual faction membership, is insane. She brings so much functionality, so much utility, and such big damage numbers to any account. And that really starts the second you get her, but it's fully unlocked with A3. That is when she transforms. However, I really want to know about her A5. And if you want to know who I am in this position, her A3 is insane. It is the best investment in the game for polished Soulstones. So if you're lucky to have 3 of them, please invest them into your Ingrid to bring her to A3. If you've got her A1 and you've got 2 of them, bring her to A3. If you've got her A2 and you've got 1, bring her to A3. You can quickly see here, if I do a reset that I'm not going to follow through on, I've put 3 polished Soulstones into her. She's the only unit I've ever properly invested polished Soulstones into. Very quickly, the reason I say properly is because for the longest time, I've used my Twin Fiend as a mule. This is just someone, because I have reset books, I actually have 3. I've never used one. I've placed them on Twin Fiend as a placeholder from when my account was much, much younger. But he's just sitting here waiting to be reset. Anyway, back to Ingrid. Her A3 is crazy, and I got that for her with the polished Soulstones. But then a couple months ago, when they ran her banner along with Valara during the anniversary event, I magically picked up 2 dupes. I hit Ingrid twice. I did about 210 summons, and we hit Ingrid twice. It was awesome. So I can make an A5 Ingrid. At A4, we're going to get plus 8% penetration. Because she's a magic DPS, this means she's going to ignore 8% additional magic resistance. So she's going to deal more damage. She's ignoring their magic defenses. And then the A5, the thing I want to focus on in this video, and now you see why I want to focus on her AoE mode, her solar mode. This is where she ignores additionally 25% magic resistance whenever she triggers one of those solar flares. So remember, because my Ingrid's already A3, and once she's A5, she obviously is going to have A3, she's going to trigger, when she's in solar overload, one of those solar flares every other hit, and now they'll be ignoring 33% of the magic defense. 33% of the magic resistance will be shred because we get 8% penetration here on all of her damage, and then 25% additional, that's just straight additive on her solar flares. So I just think this is a really cool opportunity to see how good is the highest awakening for further boosting the strongest character in Watcher of Realms. So now that you understand everything, let's get in and let's test it and hopefully have a lot of fun. You can see I've got my team here. My team is very good. I would describe it as off meta. It is a very strong off meta team, but I've got Valara, only A0, lucky to have her period, but only A0 and with no Lord. So when I go up against these Praetus teams, it is pretty tricky. And you can see I've chosen this Praetus team over here because this was the first team I finally lost to. I was trying to climb up to somewhere reasonable in Overlord, broke 2K, and then I finally found a really tough team. They've got an A3 Praetus, an A3 Ingrid, an A3 Diaochan, an A1 Draelyn, so that's more damage boosting, and then, of course, A1 Valara. You can see I did a nice little climb here. Shout out to my guild leader, Hawkus, who helped me with this climb an hour or 2 ago when I was busy just getting those autos going for me. He's an arena master. But yeah, then I joined when we hit Overlord. I got a couple wins, and I was letting it go full auto, and I'm like, when are we going to hit a wall? And we finally did on this team. You can see I actually found a lot of success against a similar team that has the A3 Ingrid, actually has A4 Praetus, only A1 Diaochan, though that's the key one, does have A1 Draelyn. But honestly, and this is what I want to find out, the reason I beat this team and lost to this team is this right here. A1 Valara is crazy. I'm going to make an updated video whenever they announce the next limited banner, but I do officially think now A1 Valara is the only unpolished Soulstone recommendation I would wholeheartedly make for a non-limited banner unit. It is that good. And this is usually how I get stuck in AoE Arena since Valara has come out in the game. This is the wall I consistently hit. I can beat a lot of these teams, but I really struggle against A1 Valara. So I'm wondering, we're going to do a little test run where I run it back and almost certainly lose, and then I want to see if we A5 our Ingrid, is that enough to make a difference? So without further ado, let's kick it off. That battle still better be there. Here it is. Let me pop to the top. I think I can only afford to lose once, because if you lose 3 times, you can't keep fighting it. So I'm just going to do full auto. We're definitely going to lose. I'll make myself smaller. Let's watch it. I've got my Watcher comp with my 4 Watchers, my A0 Neza. But if you're curious about the exact strategy of this comp, I'm going to make a second video where I teach you the strategy. And so it's like a guide on how I do it for AoE. And I'm going to do a little comparison with Neza, because I have A0 Neza, but I actually pulled him 4 times on his banner. So I'm going to do A0 versus A3. But basically, we get Valara out there. We got Diaochan out there. Valara is kind of busted. You can see my Valara is still really good. I can like keep up with this depending on ult timings, but later on in the battle, she just shreds me. There's also some randomness with the knockback. That looked like a tie, but they're giving us a win. But you'll see it's all going to come together now. I placed my Neza, and now we're just waiting till we can get Eirlys and Ingrid down. There you go. They got their Ingrid down first, which was just tough for us. But early on in these rounds, you don't take that much damage, even when you're losing. Now we get Eirlys, and we patiently wait for Ingrid. I have to get Neza down earlier. He's like him and Valara together. That's the crux of the comp. You'll see that in the other video. And oh my God, we stole a win. I'll leave this in, but I'm actually going to have to cut here and grind up till I find another wall, because I guess we got good RNG somehow that time, and his timing was off, and we stole a win. So I'll leave that in. Give me 1 second to do some auto battling, try to find a new comp that we get stuck against, and then we'll do our little A3 versus A5 test. All right, folks, after the game we were supposed to lose but accidentally won, going back at Hagi, I cleared the last team on that page, so I got a refresh, and I think I found a team that's a really good mirror to us that should beat us. So you can see, similar to the other team we were going to fight with Hagi's team, A3 Praetus, A1 Valara, A3 Ingrid, A2 Diaochan, A1 Draelyn. Very, very meta. Should be very difficult. I'm just going to hop in on the autofight, and let's expect to lose here. Yeah, look at that. 560k BP is a very large amount of BP. So let's hunker down and see. I might toss this on like 3x just so we get to the part of the battle where Ingrid's getting deployed. Let's see it. All right, here we go. We're about to deploy our Ingrid. You'll see she goes right behind Neza. They're getting a nice lead now because their Ingrid is in overload mode, and I only just placed mine. The fight is closer than I would have thought, but here you're getting it. And you can see they're winning a lot of early rounds on us with their A1 Valara. Very strong. And just that lightning, when she's A1, it just deletes you that much faster. There's a tie, though. You can see we are competitive. It's not like I've got a bad team. It's a fairly endgame team, but like I said, it's pretty aggressively off-meta, though it is a strong off-meta. I'm expecting around now is when we're going to get wiped, assuming their timings are right, because they should be able to beat us in all these ways with their Valara. They beat us again here. Hopefully they still finesse it in the 9th round. If it's not clear, I'm trying to hunt for a team that we lose to now, but then I want to see if when we A5 Ingrid, do we then win? And I'm going to do it full auto. Maybe I'll do one after we take over. Yeah, here you go. So they beat us by 2 little seconds, but it's enough, right? And it's all because they got that early lead with their Valara. It was pretty consistent. If you watched it while I was fast forwarding, they were getting all those extra little bits of damage by having Valara A1. So that's kind of, these are the walls I hit, you know, somewhere between 2,000 and 2,100 if I'm pushing. If I'm being selective, obviously I can get higher, but that's not what we're looking for. We're like, how strong can we get this team, right? Very quickly, just to explain Valara's A1 and why it's such a game changer to have that versus the A0 is now when she's A1, which I don't have and my enemies do have, when enemies are going to enter her attack range, they instantaneously gain Radiant Erosion. That's one effect. And then there's a secondary effect that's very synergistic. When she attacks any target under Radiant Erosion, she's going to already ignore a quarter of their magic defense. A quarter of the magic resistance, 25%, is ignored. And because she's instantaneously marking every enemy with 1 stack of Radiant Erosion, which lasts 10 seconds, by the way, which it does not say here, but does last 10 seconds, if you didn't know, they're basically marked with that. Yes, they get the damage from the Radiant Erosion, but most importantly, she's guaranteeing for the first 10 seconds, anyone that enters her range is going to have 25% of their magic resistance ignored. And that is the difference in a lot of stuff. Because my Valara is good. She's in some of my absolute best gear. I'm not going to do a full breakdown on everyone's gear because watch that Neza video where I show you this strategy. That will be like the guide. But you can see this is quite a good build. We've got the exclusive, not maxed out, but some really nice rolls. And actually, while we're here, this is the Ingrid video. So here's the tier of Twilight she's in. Pretty good. And then she's in some nice Cataclysm. Watchguard ring. Nice. Very good looking bangle here. We got a nice quad here, and then we got a trip here. I wanted to get some speed, and I only had 2 quads, and Valara and Neza needed those. So now that you have all that background info with the gear, you understand Valara's thing, let's actually do it. It's been over 2 months, but I'm going to A5 my Ingrid. I know this will make many of my guild members happy. I've got a pretty good defense, but this should take it to the next level for Guild Wars. So that's 8% penetration. We're not going to compare A3 to A4 to A5. We're going to go, because no one should ever A4 your Ingrid unless you pull like the one random dupe. We're going to see, is this relevant, getting the A5 here. So there you have it. You guys know how anxious I get about awakening heroes and using my dupes. Maybe this is the start of a big string of awakening videos. I've got like 7 other characters that I have multiple copies of that I'm waiting to awaken. Arrogance is there staring at me. It's been almost a year now. Actually, maybe exactly a year since I pulled my A5 Arrogance, but I still haven't done it. All right, folks, it's Fasty from the not that far in the future. Obviously, I can't do the apples to apples test I wanted to with that old comp you saw when Ingrid was A3. That was a couple hours ago at this point. However, I found a really good comp to test things out on, and then we can do another fight after if we'd like. I have written down the big damage from Ingrid, specifically in Wave 8, so we have a direct comparison. I'll discuss that when we get there, but I think this is the comp we should take on. They have A0 Neza, we have A0 Neza, pretty dang similar with the Diaochan. They've got the A4 Eloin, we got the A0 Eirlys, very similar, and it really comes down to what I want to test, right? They have the A1 Valara, we have A0. Can we make up for that now with our A5 Ingrid compared to their only A3? So I hopped into this battle just to make sure their BP is good. They're at like 525k, so it's very, very even now. This should be a really, really good matchup, and we should really get to test that big damage from Ingrid and see if we think it's particularly valuable or it's just like a mini bonus. Haven't been able to do this yet, so I'm really excited to actually get in here and check. And I do apologize that the other thing got messed up. I had no idea about this auto fight bug. I really appreciate the viewers who reached out to me. I'm a little furious. The jank in this game never ceases to surprise me, but it's okay. We're going to hunker down and we're going to do this. Obviously, I'm doing it on manual for reasons I do not have to explain, but I'll talk you through it this way, so that's pretty cool. As soon as we get Diaochan ready, we're going to place her and switch her to black mode. Now we'll get our little push and our little lightning. Take care of those guys. Excellent. We're not going to ult with Valara yet. We're going to wait till we take care of this wave 2. We really don't care if we lose or win any of these early waves. It's pretty low stakes. He'll probably win this one. His Valara's at the skin. She's full invisible. As soon as we win that round, though, we're going to ult with Valara and move her up at the same time. Oh, he had 2 guys get through? Okay, fine. We're slightly early, but it's going to be okay. Wave 3 is not the huge issue. As soon as we have 18 costs, I'm placing Neza. Hopefully we're still ulting for long enough. Maybe not. We'll find out in a second. Yeah, we're good. Cool. Basically a tie. It is a tie. All right. I told you I found a good opponent. It's really just the A1 Valara versus A0 Valara, and then the A3 Ingrid versus the A5 Ingrid. Who's going to come in on top? We're going to ult here on wave 4 with Neza. We're going to save Valara for wave 6. Otherwise, things can really go wacky. As soon as we have 18 costs, we're placing Eirlys down for some heals and rage regeneration. We lose there. I don't know how they calculate these things, but whatever. All right, here's wave 5. We're going to sit on it. We should be fine. It's a small wave again. Only 12 total units. Still got a little bit of Neza ult. That thing lasts forever. Cleaned it up well enough. Should be pretty close. Yeah, they won by a single hit yet again. Basically a tie, and now we're getting ready for Ingrid. At the start of wave 6, that's when I like to ult with Valara. You can watch my full guide that will come out very soon after this video if you want, or maybe during the next AoE. That all depends, actually. Let's ult with Neza, and now finally we can place Ingrid. The one annoying thing with this placement strategy now, since she's ideally going to be one of our main DPSers, where before she was like my 3rd DPS, her timing is so relevant, and it can be really annoying timing out those solar flares. So I do think it's possible. I'm not going to do it here, but if you want to check the other video, I think it's possible now that she's A5, I might be doing her before Neza. Or maybe not in that video, because that video is going to kind of be a Neza guide, but I think that might end up being cleaner to make sure she's doing those flares and she's in that overload mode when you want her to be. We got 1 stack so far. It's wave 8. I told you where we're going to do the comparison. I'll pause right before it. Don't worry. Let's ult with Valara. Let's check Ingrid's stack. She's at 3 stacks. Now she should be just getting to overload at the end of wave 7, so she's ready for wave 8. She's got 4 stacks. Is that 5? Yeah, there's her first overload. No, that's just a normal flare. She'll get in a second though. But these are the numbers I want to tell you. So when we get wave 8 here, the numbers from the original testing I did, I like super slow mode, parsed through all of those clips so I could get you numbers. The first group of mobs, we were seeing damage between 335k and 375k. That variability comes down to our enemy's BP and our BP and what it averages out to. That determines the strength of the mobs. And then the second group of mobs, we were hitting between like 395k and 444k. So those are the ranges. So we want to ideally see something a nice chunk above both of those. So pretty even here. Ingrid is now in overload mode. Let's see these numbers. I'm going to throw on 1x. Wait 1 second. I think I saw 500. Let's see. Should come right now. Hopefully, Nazon, everyone doesn't kill these guys. Here comes Ingrid. There you go, 467k. That is pretty mighty. So in all the footage I went through, the range was for this first mob, this first group of 8, it was 335k to 375k, and there you just saw 467k or whatnot. So we're seeing like actually 25% more damage nearly. That is really, really mighty. Here's the second wave. This is where it was like 395k to 445k or so. And let's see these numbers. I'm going to have to keep it with the slow-mo. We'll go 2x, but in the slow-mo. Let's see Ingrid here, and let's see what these numbers are. 585k. That's 140k from the previous high. Let's see the next one. She's going to come. This will be a solar flare. She's still in the every other. She's got a little bit more overload mode. 585k again. That is really crazy. 585k. So it's way more than I thought. Like when you hear ignore 25% magic res, to me, that definitely doesn't translate to 25% more post-fact damage, but that's what it is. And that is so freaking good. Like she shocked me. She's way better than I thought with this awakening. And I actually think I'm going to recommend a lot more people consider it than I ever anticipated I would. Let's see if she goes to one more overload mode here for wave 9. She should. Sorry, I completely delayed these ults. I think we can save Nazon. I can go with Valara. Is this guy really going to squeeze through and destroy my run? All right, that's fine. Well, they're actually destroyed too, so we actually might get a sneaky win. Not our best opponent anyway, so hopefully we can pull it off because they let more guys through. This really doesn't matter. I just want to get those numbers. 585k from a previous high of 444k is a huge difference, regardless of slight variations in opponent BP. This guy was like 526. Some of the footage I looked at from before, from the initial stuff you guys saw, was like, I think it was 510 or 515. Another one was like 540 or 550. So it was all within that range. We're about 8 or 9k higher than we were before we awakened her. That is pretty wild stuff. We can save a new auto, so that's fun. So you guys don't have to watch my setup again. That's really cool. I'm curious if there's going to be a better opponent we can take on, and let's do at least one. I think one more fight feels good, right? We've got a refresh, but I'm just peeking. This got an A5 Ingrid. Otherwise, that would be literally a perfect one to go up against. I'm wasting a lot of diamonds, so if you appreciate that, make sure you like the video. Here we go. A1 Praetus, A3 Ingrid, A1 Valara. This is the Praetus team that I really want to take on, and everything else is the same, right? They've got Praetus, we've got Neza, they're running Arbiters, we're running Watchguard, but we've got that main thing. A3 Ingrid versus A5, A1 Valara versus A0. Let's hop into this battle. This one looks really good. A level 100 account. This should be really nice. I hope their BP is nice and high. 544. This is the perfect test. And again, I think wave 8's where we're going to get those great numbers and we get to compare. Also, I won't be as obsessed about it, so I won't miss a Valara or a Neza ult this time. But I think we're going to let this run until probably middle wave 5 is probably the right time to do it. We need that push from Valara. We got it. It really is a great strategy to start Valara back and then move her up. Works very well. So it's a wash at the beginning. It's fine. Here's wave 3. The Valara ult got completely screwed up because of the timing. So we're actually going to do that now. Got to take that over. Keep an eye on that. And is that going to blow my run? No, thank goodness. It almost did with Neza. I really hate how this stuff happens, man. My Neza is not bound, so he cannot heal himself. We really, really need to get Eirlys down, and we will get her in time. That's fine. There we go. Looks pretty close here again, like a really even one. They obviously got their little lead there, as it should be, because we want to make our comeback and we want to see. But I also just really want to key in on this damage. This is wave 5. We're going to save Valara for wave 6, and we also need to get our Ingrid out. They let someone squeak through. I got to tell you guys, arena is this is why I don't make that much arena content. I'm like desperately trying to find good test parameters and good opponents and this and that, and then stuff like this happens. And it's not even this guy's fault. It's just like the random timings, and you get these cheap wins, and it's hard to make content, but whatever. The main takeaway, we know it. The damage is up like 25%. That is crazy. But we need to find a better battle. I hope I don't have to waste more diamonds. If I do, such is life. This will be our last battle, so I really hope we find a worthy opponent. I'm looking for A3 Ingrids. We don't have any. Oh, we got a free refresh, though. That is great. This looks pretty perfect. 600k approximately, level 100 account. A2 Praetus, A3 Ingrid, A1 Valara. This is our perfect match. We're running Eirlys. They've got the A1 Draelyn. This is like the full meta. A3 Diaochan actually is going to give them a big boost, but we're ready for the challenge. We're ready. So I'll take over at the end of wave 2 just so that weird timing doesn't happen. But look at that. Is that a Romanian flag or Bulgarian flag? Sorry, I'm not getting that right. 570k though. 570k BP. This would be really nice if we could do it. I don't think we'll be able to because of our tight timings, but it's pretty cool. We better not blow it here. I'll literally cry. There we go. Okay, good. There would have been tears. All right, let's interrupt. So basically a wash. We'll hit on this hit. We'll get him. Now we can take Valara, move her up, and we ult. Now we're getting ready with Naza as soon as we kind of swell. Sticky mouse there. All right, we're fine. We actually get a little lead there. Some very good timing. But again, it's all a wash, basically a full tie. Ult with Naza. Now we're waiting for Eirlys. We need the Rager Gem. We're going to need a little bit of healing. Throw us on 1x in a second. They get a little lead now. It might be even more than a little lead here. No, only a little. Wave 5 is usually where they can take a big lead on us, because we're going to save Valara for 6. But we got Eirlys down. That's good. We can patiently wait for Ingrid. At least it's a small wave, so the damage is somewhat limited, typically. We just need not to get super unlucky. We got it. Okay, that's perfect. So wave 6, let's ult with Valara. And now this is a really good matchup. This is kind of what we've been waiting for. We're close. We just need to get our Ingrid out. They've got their Ingrid out, so they're still going to have a big advantage. Once we ult with Naza, it should be all right. Big blast from Ingrid, so they will knock off a nice chunk here. But hopefully we can at least just get Ingrid out. Perfect. I want to just get a great view of that damage. Here comes wave 7. Get going with Valara. Awesome. We got a little lead now. Ingrid, let's check the stack. She's at 2 solar points. Yeah, I'm really curious what the damage is going to be against such a high BP opponent. Because remember, against lower BPs, but still well over 500, when she was at A3, we were getting that first clump, like 335k to 375k, and then the second one, 395 to 445. If we could get something really huge, like over 500k, especially on that second wave here with Ingrid on wave 8, I mean, I don't think we're going to win this battle because these guys are pretty stacked up. But I mean, that is very promising for stuff like Guild Wars and so on and so on. I didn't get the numbers there. I'll do a reverse slow-mo, but I will get them here. Let's throw it on 1x. Let's see. Any second now, Ingrid. Here she comes. 557. So even against a 570 BP opponent, we're getting 570k up from 440k as a previous best. That is monstrous. Another 130k plus. That is so freaking much. Let's see another shot here. 669 there. 669. That's insane. That it's adding at least 25% damage, all the way up to 33+% damage. Damage is going up by a quarter to a third. There's another 557. It depends on the mobs. That is wild. It must have been. I don't know what the other potential variance is. We're not putting out any other debuffs, so that is crazy. Are we all out? We are all out. Maybe we can at least survive for wave 9. They get a big Ingrid blast there. See, their timing's much better lined up. Is she in overload mode? No, they don't show me, but it looks like she is. If we could hold on here, that would be great. I would like to at least make it to wave 9. I will ult with Valara because I don't care about winning right now. We might get it anyway. I think I can sit off this. Oh, we got it. Okay, cool. Maybe we got a cheeky little dub coming. Who knows? That would be the real impressive moment. If we could somehow squeak one out here, that'd be wild. Ingrid is at 2 points, so we should get a couple blasts at the end here. Now she's at 3. 4. Okay, I'll go back to 1x. I don't want to miss any of these hits. Right, one more and she's going to go overloaded. All right, there we go. Overload. And let's see. Focusing on Ingrid. We want to see those big blasts. That's the normal hit. The next one will be the big one. It's over 500 again. I'm going to be pretty freaking hyped. 485. All right, these guys are tankier as it goes on. Still way, way better than we had before. Like, we were not hitting those guys for anywhere close to 400k plus. It's a lot more like, I think it was high 200s or low 300s. I didn't get the specific numbers on that. There was a 524 there, and then a bunch of 435s or 450s, whatever that was. She got more? Yeah, she got plenty more time. Let's see another one. Here she comes. 445k. Nice. Another 445. The damage is huge. We actually might win this round. Is she still going? Yeah, if we can blast through this, we actually might get this here. This lined up perfect at the end for us. Oh, just missed it because they went to overload too. Yeah, their Valar gives them the lead. But hey, huge numbers. I mean, we're seeing damage boosts from our A3 tests at a minimum of 25% more damage, or at least low 20% more damage just from that, the A4 and the A5. And then we're seeing it as high as, like, I think 35%. I'll do some of that math for you guys, but that is excellent. I apologize for the clunkiness of this upload. Unfortunately, not the autofight upload, but related to the autofight upload. It is frustrating, but I do think we got some pretty wild results. And I would say, in my opinion, I would not A5 with Soulstones just for Arena. You could see it was better, but I still lost to that account because they were super strong. They had the meta Praetus and they have Valara. They have A1 Valara. And also, I'd beat basically anyone with how good my team is if they didn't have Valara. And Valara is what is deciding Arena right now. Ingrid's helping. It's awesome. But the reason I would do it, if you want, is if you're very serious about GVG. The amount of extra BP you get is really, really significant. Without moving any gear around, her BP went up about 5K, 4.5, 5K. And if I optimize it, I could have it a lot more. It's probably scaling off the previous. We're talking maybe 6K, something like that. And then with the additional Lord bonus, like, she's going to be my highest BP character now that I've got this A5 crazy ancient exclusive Lord. So you have that angle in GVG when it comes to offense and doing BP affiliation with your demon soldiers. But then on defense, you will feel the difference. Like, people won't see it coming. The amount of damage of your Ingrid when she blasts is doing 33% more damage. If you really care about GVG, that will be a huge upgrade to your defense. So I'm excited to do it. I wouldn't personally have done it with Soulstones because I don't really care about GVG, but I got it. I had the Soulstones anyway for the A3, and now we got it naturally with the 2 dupes. I'm excited to try it out. And if you guys want to see that, I can try to throw some GVG stuff together. But all in all, I think the boost is very strong. Like, it actually surprised me. It was so much stronger than I anticipated. And I think for certain players, this is something you're going to want to consider. That is a very powerful awakening. She is it's way better than I thought. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your patience. This has been very frustrating, but I'm glad we got a final version of the video out. I've been fastidious. Share it with your mother, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.